Hezbollah fired dozens of rockets into northern Israel today as Israel remains on high alert for retaliation from Iran and its proxies after last month's assassinations of a top Hezbollah commander in Beirut and Hamas's lead hostage negotiator who was killed in Tehran. The Pentagon announced overnight it's moving the USS Georgia, a guided missile submarine, to the region to join the American warships and fighter jets already there. It's unusual for them to announce a submarine's movements. On Saturday, Israel bombed a school being used as a shelter in Gaza City, killing at least 100 people, according to the Palestinians, injuring dozens more. Israel says at least 19 Hamas militants were hiding there. Joining us now, NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez, who is in Tel Aviv, and Ben Rhodes, former Deputy National Security Advisor for the Obama White House. So, Raf, how is Israel preparing for this? You know, it's unusual, we've said, that the U.S. is being so public about what it is sending, but there's also a lot of dismay in the administration, certainly in other capitals, Jordan, Qatar, really outraged by what happened over the weekend, to say nothing of the assassination of Hania in Tehran, setting off the likelihood of retaliation from Iran.
Yeah, Andrea, a lot of threads playing out simultaneously in the Middle East right now. As you said, Israel is bracing for that long-expected Iranian retaliation to the assassination of Hamas's political chief in Tehran. Israelis, frankly, have been going to bed every night for the last 2 weeks, wondering if tonight is the night that wave of expected Iranian ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, drones will be heading for Israel. I can tell you they are on particularly high alert right now because we are heading into the Jewish holiday of Tish B'Av, which commemorates the destruction of the Jewish temple. There is some concern here in Israel that the Iranian regime and Hezbollah, who are into symbolism, might choose this night of all nights to attack. Earlier today, the Israeli Air Force told all of its pilots nobody is leaving the country. Everybody needs to be available for duty in the event of escalation. And as you said, the United States is trying to send a very public message with this display of military power heading to the Middle East, that aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, that submarine. The hope of the White House is to deter Iran, to convince them not to go ahead with this attack at all. I haven't spoken to many Israeli officials or American officials who are confident that is going to work. But the fallback is to have enough American forces in the region to help intercept that incoming in the event that the Iranians do move ahead. So this is another tense day in Israel. As you said, it has been a very bloody weekend in Gaza. The Israeli Air Force once again, for about the fourth or fifth time this month, hitting a school where civilians were sheltering. The Israeli military says a number of militants from both Hamas and Islamic Jihad were hiding in that school, hiding among the civilian population. They say they are confident that they killed several dozen militants, but Gaza's civil defense says 100 people or so were killed, and our team on the ground in Gaza says that there were women and children among the dead there. And Andrea, this is just reigniting deeply held concerns that Benjamin Netanyahu has effectively embarked on a forever war in Gaza, because we are seeing this pattern again and again and again. Israeli forces moving into areas like the city of Han Yunis in southern Gaza. They say they've cleared Hamas out. They leave. Hamas regroups and Israeli forces go back in, and it is Palestinian civilians who have been displaced again and again and again who are today once more being told to pack up what few belongings they have and get out of the area. Andrea.
Raf Sanchez, thanks so much for that grim update from Tel Aviv. And Ben Rhodes, there's so much anger against Israel right now. From the White House, unspoken, from our allies who say they were outraged, Jordan, France, Qatar, others, by these repeated attacks, which they see as, first of all, evidence that Israel is not, is not thinking about the hostage and ceasefire negotiations, which were supposed to come to a head on Thursday when they took out the lead negotiator.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is twofold, right? First, there's the negotiations, which every time they kind of reach the decision point, it feels like you have a pullback both from Prime Minister Netanyahu on the Israeli side and obviously from Yahya Sinwar, who's the de facto, well, now the leader of Hamas inside of Gaza. And so I think a lot of frustration that all this time is spent at the negotiating table, getting right to the precipice of an agreement. And then, like Lucy with the football, it always kind of falls apart at the end. And we'll see if that pattern repeats here. And then with strikes like these, Andrea, I mean, I think the thing that kind of bears noting here is it doesn't matter if there were Hamas militants in that school. You can't, under international law, hit a school with dozens of civilians just because there's some militants there. And I think the repetition of that, too, is grinding down patience.
There's another military factor here, which is I'm hearing criticism from retired generals on the U.S. side, that they're not clearing and holding, which is what actually, despite the lack of success, we ended up doing during the surge in Iraq. So they're again in Khan Yunis, they're again in Gaza City. So, the fact that they keep moving people out and then going back in.
Yeah, and I think what that's connected to, Andrea, is this lack of any clarity about what the medium and long-term vision from Israel is about Gaza. The one thing we've heard from Prime Minister Netanyahu, and he repeated in front of Congress, is essentially an insistence that Israel have open-ended security control over Gaza. Well, what does that mean? What we're seeing right now is that doesn't mean necessarily a full-scale occupation, but you see this kind of very grim whack-a-mole where essentially the Israelis are using a combination of heavy air power and occasional limited ground incursions to just take a shot at whatever they see popping up. And oftentimes that is amidst civilian populations that are being forced from one place to the next, because the Israeli military objective of destroying Hamas is not an achievable objective. And that's something that Israel's own security forces have suggested as well. Netanyahu doesn't have a political objective that meets the kind of security reality on the ground there. And so you need some kind of coalescence, not just around a ceasefire deal, but around an understanding of what is Gaza going to look like 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year from now. And we just haven't had that out of the Israeli government yet.
And that just takes attention away from the fact that Hamas keeps rejecting these deals as well, and again has. Ben Rhodes, thanks very much to you.